is WW3. We have a huge war front that is about to open up in the Caribbean and in Latin America, and this involves everything all the way up to the U.S. southern border. And it's going to affect the homeland here in America. We now have 3 U.S. missile destroyers heading toward Venezuela to combat Maduro. It has everything to do with what they're saying is this narco-terrorist units that are moving about. Now, they went out and they labeled Tren de Aragua and the Sinaloa cartel as designated terrorist units, meaning they're going to treat them like any other terrorists they ever have in the past, and they're going to mow them down and try to put them to an end. Now, we have Maduro not taking too kindly to that, saying, you can try to send whatever you want, I'm going to counter it. The U.S. sending 3 destroyers down into the area, surveillance aircraft. You have the P-8 surveillance planes that are going back and forth in the region. They even have attack submarines stationed, like it's about to go off. Maduro saying you can send all of it. He's going to deploy 4.5 million militia members to counter these outlandish threats. And remember, they've sent Tren de Aragua all the way up into the United States. They've been doing stuff all over this country, inside the country. And there's a network going from Venezuela all the way to here. And a lot of it funneling the drugs like fentanyl and other exotic drugs into the United States. That's taking the lives of hundreds of thousands of people in this country. So this is the setting. It looks like big war is about to unfold and people are not even paying attention. And it looks like it's going to come raining down on Maduro. So this could affect things. There could be major blowback is my biggest concern in terms of this country, bombings, attacks, anything that they can throw at us in the midst of this. But as we can see, it's definitely set up. At any moment now, it's going to commence. Join me on the live streams where I'm talking about this in greater detail. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you guys there. Much love.
First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Quadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I'd like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. The type of day lesson is World War III is near. So I'd like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today, let's have a news article here by CBS News. And it reads, it said, Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro says he's deploying 4.5 million military members in response to outlandish threats by the U.S. It said Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro on Monday said he would deploy 4.5 million militant members in response to outlandish threats by the United States after Washington raised the bounty for his arrest to 50 million and launched anti-drug operation in the Caribbean. Said this week, I will activate a special plan with more than 4.5 million militant men to ensure coverage of the entire national territory. Said militants that are prepared, activated, and armed, Maduro announced on state television. So that's all we're going to get to this report. But we're seeing right now things are constantly picking up between the U.S. and South America. So also we already knowing that America is not an ally with Venezuela, Slovakia. And also we know that that Russia is is allies with Venezuela. So we're seeing how these things are going. It seems like it's rumors of wars pretty much every day. We're already knowing about that meeting between Putin and Russia. Now all of a sudden this has happened, but they saying now that Donald Trump has put a 50 million bounty on the president of Venezuela head. So right here we know things is getting we're getting there. We're seeing it right before our eyes. So, just like when we in the opening video, we see that I brought it that WW7, saying it was about as big wars right upon us. So, that's the wars to end all wars, which in fact is WW3. So things are constantly brewing left and right. We're seeing that these nations are rising up left and right. So this right here is in our own backyard. So, he deployed military down there, got militaries going into these major cities across America. So what is going on? We already know what's going on. The men of the Lord, we constantly been warning you about war. We've been warning you about famine. We've been warning you about pestilence. We've been warning you about it. Great economic collapse. We warning you about the MOTB, also the hour of temptation, even though we sound like a broken record, but these are the time that we're living in. The Lord has set up watchmen to warn you of these impending dangers. And that's where we at right now. So we're seeing one threat behind another. We're seeing one rumor behind another. One event behind another. One calamity behind another. A lot of things are constantly happening. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. So this right here is very serious. We already know once they tried to go into in Venezuela, we already know it's going to be a domino effect. We already know that Russia will get involved at some point. And also it was already rumors that in Poland that they saying that a drone exploded in some part Poland, which in fact that is a NATO member. So we already know that could pick up. We're gonna see how that fans out. So everywhere you look, we know that the stage is set. Things are constantly picking up. Also, things are constantly brewing back up between Iran and Israel. The least of the flocks is drawing them out. So a lot of things are constantly happening, man. We see it right here, man. That this is getting ready to get very, very very, very dangerous. We living in some very dangerous, evil times. So the men of the Lord, we constantly warn you about this thing. So this right here in our own backyard. And also I know that it said that DJ Donald Trump has sent 2 warships down in South America. So man, he got warships over here. We got Marines and National Guards in these major cities, man. We already know this place is slowly becoming a police state, and also we know that things are picking up against these other nations. You know what I'm saying? Revelation chapter 17, Revelation chapter 18, these things are lining up just like clockwork. We already know that America will be attacked and they will be totally destroyed. So now, let's get a quick precept. It's something else I want to get before we get that precept. Let's go with this one right here about Poland. Something else I've seen in the news, So it's a lot of things that's going on. In the middle of the Lord, we got to constantly, speak on the report on it, because we are the mouthpiece of the Lord. We just going to read it. It says here, Poland accuses Russia over military drone blast. Let's open it up. Let's get a little bit of this. I get a little bit of it. It's a lot of reading. I ain't trying to, I don't want it admit to be too long tonight. It says here, Poland accuses Russia over military drone blast. And this report here is right off a news break. You get it right on news break. So it's a lot of things that's constantly going on. We're living in some very prophetic times here. Poland said on Wednesday that a Russian military drone flew into the airspace and exploded in farmland in the east of the country overnight, calling it a provocation. It said once again we are facing a provocation from the Russian Federation with a Russian drone. Polish defense minister, I can't spell that name, but anyway, it says, I can't say that name. Man, that's, but what you see right here, it said the explosion occurred in a cornfield near a village in Austria, some 100 kilometers, 60 miles from Warsaw, and near the borders of Ukraine and Russia. Russia ally and Belarus. But right here we seeing that every time you look around, there's a rumor here, that it was already speculation that have Russia attacking Poland, but we got to wait and see. We seeing this constantly unfolding, but we know at some point that all hell is going to break loose. So now let's go here. Let's get this quick precept. I got some more videos to bring out. Let's go here to get this quick precept. Let's go here first to Jeremiah chapter 28. Let's go here first. Because, prophets, we constantly been warning you about these things that's happened. And also in Matthew chapter 24, it'll tell you in Luke chapter 21, and I think Mark chapter 13 tell you about the rumors of the wars. The birth pain. That's where we at right now. We constantly seeing these things. And also the Lord is constantly visiting the earth that he created. So let's go here to Jeremiah chapter 28. Start here, then we get a few videos, then we'll close out with a couple precepts. Let's see here. Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8. It said, the prophet that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evils and of pestilence. So that's what we constantly been warning you left and right, the prophets of old and also the prophets right now. So the spirit of the prophet are subject to the prophet. You know what I'm saying? If you're a prophet back then, you're a prophet right now. You constantly prophesying. You constantly warning, of war. You constantly warning of what? Of famine, pestilence, plagues. Evil time, Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, the MOTB, and also World War III. So, you have been well warned, warning before destruction. So that's where we at right now. Verse 9, it says, the prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord had truly sent him. So in that day you shall know that a prophet was among you, because these prophets right now are speaking loud and clear. Everything is lining up. These prophets are popping just like popcorn. So we here, man. We seeing that these things are constantly picking up. We seeing right now things are increasing at any given time. All hell can break loose once again. So now let's start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
In Latin America. For more now, we are joined by national security correspondent Liz Landers, who's been tracking all of this. And Liz, what is the U.S. plan in Venezuela?
Yeah, Andrew, well, while the world has been focused on these peace talks that President Trump is attempting to broker between Russia and Ukraine, the U.S. has slowly been building up a large military presence in the Caribbean near Venezuela. A source familiar told Scripps News that the move is part of President Donald Trump's effort to combat those threats from Latin American drug cartels. The source confirming to Scripps News that 3 U.S. guided missile destroyers, the USS Gravely, USS Jason Dunham, and the USS Samson, are being deployed in these efforts, with some news outlets also reporting that the ships should arrive there imminently off the coast of Venezuela. So this will bring the military posture to about 4,000 sailors and Marines, and the broader region will also have several P-8 spy planes, warships, and at least one attack submarine, that according to Reuters. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was asked about the U.S. military going after drug traffickers late last week. Listen to what he said.
There are designated narco-terrorist groups operating in the region, some of them utilizing international airspace, international waters, to transit poison into the United States. And those groups will be confronted. The president's made that clear from the time he operated.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announcing on Monday that his country will mobilize more than 4 million militia members, saying that the militias will be, quote, prepared, activated, and armed throughout Venezuela. So he said in this televised address on Monday that we will, quote, defend our seas, our skies, and our lands. We liberated them. We guard and patrol them. No empire will touch the sacred soil of Venezuela, nor should it touch the sacred soil of South America, Andrew. So really some military tension building up in the region there.
So I'm scared. I could tell you about Texas passing the gerrymandering thing and 5 other news stories right now, but my brain's not in it. You guys know I have sources, and I was just messaged some scary crap, and it's the next project. I'm not going to name it right now. I'm waiting for the source to let me know what we can and cannot say so that they are not implicated. But it's coming, and it's coming faster than you think. If you can leave, leave. If you can't leave, figure out what you're going to do. Because I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, I'm not trying to be a fear monger. I'm scared. Scared for my dad. Scared for my son. It's going to get bad, guys. It's going to get real bad.
First, let me go ahead and highlight up front that we are aware of the press reports alleging that 2 Russian missiles have struck a location inside Poland near the Ukraine border. I can tell you that we don't have any information at this time to corroborate those reports and are looking into this further. And so when we do have an update to provide, we'll be sure to do so. I don't want to speculate or get into hypotheticals. When it comes to our security commitments and Article 5, we've been crystal clear that we will defend every inch of NATO territory.
A suspected Russian suicide drone has exploded in the Polish village of Osiny, sparking concern across Europe. Poland is a member of NATO, which means the incident could have serious international consequences. The explosion happened more than 100 kilometers from Poland's border with Ukraine. 3 buildings in the village were damaged, and investigators discovered pieces of a drone's engine and propeller in a crater at the site. Fortunately, there are no reports of injuries. At first, it was unclear what caused the blast. But on Tuesday evening, Polish prosecutors confirmed that it was a military drone that exploded. While officials did not immediately say where the drone came from, reports suggest it may have been a Russian suicide drone, the kind often used in attacks against Ukraine. This incident has raised alarm because Poland is a NATO member. NATO's Article 5 says that an attack on one member can be treated as an attack on all. While this was a single explosion with limited damage, it will likely push Polish and NATO leaders to discuss next steps and whether stronger defenses are needed along Poland's eastern border.
So now we'll start today's lesson. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. Let's start here first. Let's go here first. Let's start here first. Some random scriptures here. It says, let's start here first in Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, so all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Said the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and have prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. So we seeing right now that a lot of countries that was allies once with America, now they're turning against America. So right now, I think at one particular time, if I'm not mistaken, that Venezuela was an ally with America, but now we're seeing now that they're enemies. So we're seeing right now that they constantly getting ready, they're plotting, they're getting ready to go to war the way it's looking. But we're seeing right now that these things are happening on a lot of different fronts. Right here in our own backyard, South America, over there in Ukraine, also Iran and Israel. Also, we know that with China and Russia, we can't count them out because we know that at some point that they're going to invade America. So we're here. Let's read this in the NLT. So Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7 says, all your allies will turn against you. That's what we slowly seeing. Say they will help to chase you from your land. Say they will promise you peace. We already seen that with Putin and Trump just a couple of days ago in Alaska. He said with peace, but while plotting to deceive and destroy you, said your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. So that's exactly what's happening. They don't know what will hit them. In 1 hour thy judgment comes. So we already know that, it's coming very quickly. We're seeing that America right now is pretty much finished, a circular drain. We're seeing that this man is constantly, he's spreading himself very thin. Got military all over in America. Washington D.C. Now talking about deploying something to Chicago and other different cities. Already started L.A. Where's all this military buildup coming from? Military buildup down in South America. It's already done something. What, two warships down there, man? Why you need all this firepower for this small country, man? What are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? So we already know that he's that cruel Lord, and one thing about it, we know that, they're getting ready to set up this new system. They putting things into place, putting these militaries already setting the stage. We're seeing right now World War III is right upon us, man. Let's go here to Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2. Let's get this one by Habakkuk chapter 2. Just a short lesson, just things I'm seeing through the Spirit. We're seeing that, hey, man, we're very close. Let's go here. Verse 5 is what I want to get right here. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5 says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. So neither keeper at home who enlarges his desire is held, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapers unto him all people. So right now, we see right now, this man is not a keeper at home. And everywhere he go, death and hell follow him. You know what I'm saying? Who is the most proud? Esau, even the so-called white man. So we seeing right now, this man is done put a $50 million bounty on Maduro, the president of Venezuela. So we're seeing these things. You're getting here. We're getting here. We're very excited. We know that if things get ready, things get ready to pop off. We know that grain of rice is right around the corner. Also, we already know what Bill Gates already saying, that these digital tattoos and wearables are going to replace the smartphone. You're going to be the smartphone. You're under the skin. So these things are here. So this man right here, he can't stay at home. He is the nation police, the hammer of the whole earth, but he's in for a rude awakening. So we're seeing right now these nations are slowly turning against Babylon the Great, the whore. We're seeing left and right, all the allies that was at peace with America, they're slowly turning away from America. We're seeing right now the dollar is fed. We're seeing our economy is constantly plunging. So we're seeing that we having civil unrest, the uproars of the people, and also we already know that this nation is divided. We're here, man. These things are right at the door. So that's all I want to get out of this right here. So this man right here, he transgressed with that wine, with his policy, with his democracy, with his influence. This man is just, is the harbinger of death. Everywhere he go, death and hell follow him. So now he keep saying that this is about the drugs, that's coming in and out of America, and a lot of violence and stuff. He already come up with a good plan, but we already know who the most violent and the most bloody man on this planet is Esau, Edom, the modern day so-called white man. So that, man, I'm telling you, man, we're here, man. Let's go here to Luke chapter 21, because we've been hearing these rumors of war left and right, but the Lord said, be not, but the end is not yet. Let's go here first. Let's go. I tell you what, let's get the one out of Matthew. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew's going straight to the point. Let's go into Matthew chapter 24. We'll start up at verse. Let's go here. Let's see. Let's see. We could start up at verse. Let's start up at verse 3 and read down. It said, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3, it said, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciple came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming, said, and of the end of the world. So verse 4 said, and Yahweh answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5 said, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Verse 6 said, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So he was telling the disciple, they're asking him when will be the signs of his coming, when will be the end of the world. So right now he's letting them know. So we're in this time right now, but the end is not yet. So we're seeing all these different prophetic signs of the times right before our eyes. The Lord is constantly showing us things. The Lord said, take heed that no man deceive you. We got to have that spirit of discernment. Let's see here. It says right here, it says, verse 6, once again, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we in the birth pain. Verse 7 said, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, or plagues, or disease, and earthquakes in diverse places. So we seeing this left and right, earthquakes all throughout the earth. We seeing nation rising against nation. We seeing South America rising against North America. It's on and on. Russia, China, everyone is rising up. Everyone is preparing for war. And also we seeing the volcanic activity throughout the world. Also, once again, earthquakes in diverse places, pretty much every day. And it says in verse 8, it said, all these are the beginning of sorrow. So we're in the birth pains right now. These things are happening. These things must come to pass before the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. It's fast approaching. It is at the door. So now let's go to our last and final script. We'll close out here. Just not to be too long tonight. But once again, we're very close. We're very excited. You know what I'm saying? Rejoice ye heaven. DTA above a ball. We ready to get the hell out of here, man. We're rejoicing. We know that we're very close, man. We're almost out of our captivity. Salaki, my tongue a little dry. Let's go here. Let's get this one right quick. Let's go here to verse 14. It says here, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe come quickly. So that's exactly what we're seeing, that third woe. When woe goes into destruction, we're seeing it's coming very quickly. We're seeing the stage is set. All things are ready. We're seeing right now that, could be any given day if they decide to go into South America. We already know it's going to be a domino effect. At some point, we know that Russia going to get involved. We know that China will get involved. We know that NATO is going to get involved. A lot of things are happening. So we're going to see what come of that, what happened with that Poland, over there in Poland, that they're saying that Russia, a drone went off in the Poland territory, which in fact is NATO territory. So, we're going to wait and see. It could call an Article 5, but we're going to wait. We are not ignorant of Satan's device, but we already know that the least of the flock should draw them out. Also, we know that they're planning something big. It could be another pandemic or something like that. Already saying something about certain outbreaks, they're increasing. So, he's setting the stage, he's cooking. While you're sleeping, the devil's constantly getting busy. So let's read this once again. It says, Revelation chapter 11, verse 14 said, the second woe is past, talking about World War II. It said, behold, the third woe come quickly. So that's what we're constantly seeing, right before we're witnessing World War III is beginning. We're seeing the beginning stages of it. So, we can wake up in the morning, they can declare something, they can say this, they can say that. So we know these things coming upon us, lockdown, martial law. Things are happening on a fast level. So we're seeing right now they're slowly, it's a major buildup, military buildup in Washington, D.C., in L.A., and getting ready to start in other cities also. So we're seeing all the military presence, pretty much, right in our own backyard, also in South America. So this man right here, we believe that he is that cruel Lord that he's going to get popping. So we already know that they're going to come up with this new system. So now let's go to this last and final script here. Let's go here to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. We get this one, we'll close out. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7 say, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. So we slowly seeing that the Lord's constantly putting these curses upon the other nations. We're seeing that the tables are turning, but we know that these curses will be upon us until the Lord great and glorious return. But we're seeing right now that the Lord is visiting the earth that he created. The Lord is making inquisition. Also, the Lord is gathering the nation for the controversy of Zion. So we're constantly rejoicing. We're seeing that the Lord is doing a mighty work. We're seeing that these signs and these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. It is at the door. So one thing about it, it's time to seek the Lord. Seek the Lord early. Seek the Lord while he can be found, because we are running out of time. The door of repentance is closing. And also we know that all hell is getting ready to break loose. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is News and Prophecy. World War III is near. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.